Information speech by Robin Minus, my audience. Hi, my name is Robin Minus, and today I'd like to talk to you about homeschooling. Have you ever met any of those crazy people that homeschool and you just wanted to ask them a few questions? Well, I know I used to be that way before I started homeschooling. So today I'd like to take the opportunity to provide you with some information about homeschooling. Homeschooling is just one option that's out there to help provide your child with an excellent education. The first question I'd like to answer is, how many people homeschool? The National Center for Education Statistics, which is a governmental agency, did a survey in 2007. They found that since 1999 that homeschool has been on the rise. In 1999 there were approximately 850,000 homeschooled children in the United States. By 2004 that number had risen to 1.1 million. And in 2007, when the survey was done, they found there were 1.5 million children homeschooled in the United States. The next question I'd like to answer is, why do people choose to homeschool? This same survey found that 36% of the people homeschool for moral or religious reasons. 21% homeschool for the environment, meaning that they were concerned about their students' welfare of the school, their safety, drug exposure, or negative peer pressure. 17% of the people homeschooled for academic reasons. 14% were classified as other. These people, maybe they traveled with their jobs, so they wanted to be able to take their children with them. They were in a rural area and the distance to the school was too far for them to be comfortable sending their kids to school, or the public school was not an option and they didn't have the finances to send their child to a private school. 7% wanted a non-traditional approach to school. Maybe these people had kids who had ADD or dyslexia or some other type of learning disability where they felt like they could make the learning environment more suitable to their child's learning style by having their children at home. And 6% of the people surveyed said they homeschooled for health reasons. When I was trying to decide whether to homeschool my daughter or not, one of the questions I asked was, do homeschooling kids do well in college? In 1996, a survey was done by the National Center for Home Education. They surveyed over 60 colleges in all of the 50 states of the United States, and they found some positive information. The Dartmouth College Dean of Admissions responded by saying the applications that they've come across are outstanding. Homeschoolers have a distinct advantage because of their individualized education. The Dean of Admissions at Harvard said that most of our homeschoolers have done very well. They usually are very motivated in what they do. USA Today also did a survey of homeschooled students and how well they did in college. In that survey, the Dean of Admissions for North Carolina, the University of North Carolina, responded by saying that all of our homeschool students have scored above average, or performing above average. I'd like to give you just a little bit of personal experience that I have concerning homeschooling in college. My oldest daughter had been in a traditional school environment from kindergarten through 8th grade. Her school did not continue past 8th grade, so we had to look at other options for her. We looked at private schools, public schools, and then we learned about the homeschooling option. We decided to see how homeschooling would work out for us. She started homeschooling in 9th grade. She did 9th and 10th grade at home. When she entered the 11th grade, we decided to add the dual enrollment option at the local community college. So she dual enrolled at the college in 11th grade, and she took as many classes as she was allowed to take. She was able to graduate with honors with her associate's degree 3 days before she graduated from high school. She entered that following fall at the University of North Florida as a junior. However, she was still eligible for all freshman scholarships. She was able to earn the highest Bright Future Scholarship available. She also received a presidential scholarship from the University of North Florida. And if all goes as planned, she should graduate by the time she's 20 years old with her bachelor's degree in business administration with honors from the University of North Florida. She is just one of many success stories of children who are homeschooled. Another question I had is, how do homeschool students do on standardized testing? When a survey conducted of 5,402 homeschooled students called Strength of Their Own Homeschooled Across America, the survey found that homeschool students scored on average between 30 to 37 percentile points again in comparison to children from a traditional school environment. On standardized achievement tests, in total reading, homeschool students scored on average in the 85th percentile. In total language, they scored in the 80th percentile. And in total math, they scored in the 82nd percentile. In the basic battery, which included reading, language, and math, they scored on average in the 85th percentile. And in the total battery, which was all the tests, all the different areas that the tests encompassed, the average homeschool student scored in the 87th percentile. The average score for the norm group, which mostly was conventional students, in all these same categories was the 50th percentile. So as you can see, the homeschool students scored quite well on standardized testing. Another question that I had when I was considering homeschooling was, do you have to spend a lot of money when you homeschool? The average homeschool family spends $546 on school supplies, whereas the average public school student, they spend approximately $5,325 per student. It's not necessarily how much money you spend that affects how well your child's going to do. It's more what the effort you or your child puts in on their education. They found that even in homeschooling, that if a homeschooling family spent $199 or less on school supplies or on their education, they scored in the 80th percentile on average. Or a homeschool family that spent between $400 and $599 still scored in the 80th percentile, and a family who spent over $600 on their educational supplies only went up by 3 percentage points to 83%. The last question I had to ask myself was, homeschooling right for me? Homeschooling is not right for everybody. You have to choose what's right for you and your child and your family. There are many reasons that people choose to homeschool, and I've shown you today some of the advantages to homeschooling. Homeschooling is just one option for helping provide an excellent education for your student. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me as I've given you some information about homeschooling.